Tonight, Ghana Education Service preliminary investigations into the brawl that we saw among some students in the Central Region implicate non-students in that brawl that left many hospitalized, prompting swift action from authorities, with police arresting 3 suspects and vowing to bring all perpetrators to justice.
Other footage with people in one or two people in uniform, and our findings, for now, though premature, indicates that they are not students.
The National Parent Teacher Association has criticized school authorities for dragging their feet on implementing the new student code of conduct. We delve into this disturbing incident right here on Top Story, brought to you always by Telecel, connecting energies, holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy holy sleep, and also by Shield Pension Trust, into the future with you. This is live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, on ATL 100.5 in Cape Coast, and also on Radio Max in Takrady. Well, tonight, Ghana Education Service says preliminary investigations reveal non-students were involved in a clash between Obachire and Swedru Business School students. Now, 3 suspects have so far been arrested by the police following a violent confrontation that hospitalized several students and shook the academic community. The Ghana Police Service has condemned the violence on Facebook, assuring the public that perpetrators will be made to face justice as investigations continue. The Central Regional Police GES Director, Dr. Juliet Nyamiche Otami, says they are working with police to investigate the matter.
They made some few arrests, and so they are still investigating the matter. We too, for GES, we start our district directors, and the investigators will also go to the various schools to ascertain the velocity of it, and then also come up with their findings. And we discipline idiots. So that's where we have reached with that case.
How many people have been arrested so far? You make mention of an arrest.
Yeah, they made an arrest of about 3 people as of yesterday. That was my information that I gathered.
But in the video, we didn't see teachers around. What is the information telling you in terms of whether teachers were present around where the issue happened or not?
Actually, normally it is at the field that the teachers are. They bring their students and they are with them. But when you look at the various cities, I don't know which one you are referring to, but those that we had where they had these violent incidents going on, you saw the police chasing after them. And some of them, it was outside, so it was a bit of, a chaos situation. And so identifying teachers will be difficult. That one is also something we are still investigating. Because, when it happens like that, you could see how people also coming in. So even, I don't want to go there, but it's difficult to ascertain whether all those that were around are students.
No, I'm talking about the 3 people who have been arrested so far. Are they students?
For now, they claim they are students.
Okay.
I'm using the word claim because there were other footage with people in one or two people in uniform, and our findings, for now, though premature, indicates that they are not students. And,
So that was the Central Regional Director of Education, the Dr. Otami, speaking to me earlier on the AM show on Joy News Channel. Now, the DCE of the area of Ewutu Senya West, Kalala Nyamiche, has also been speaking on this disturbing development.
A sad event happened on Thursday at Swedru School of Business, and 2 students were stoned on Thursday and Friday too. The video that we saw on Vera was on Friday. The nurses and the doctors at Swedru Government Hospital and Obachire just have been able to calm the situation down. So currently, as we speak, investigation is currently ongoing. When I heard the videos,
So that is the DC for the area there. But what about the Education Ministry? Deputy Minister for that ministry, Dr. Clement Park, has been providing some details on the student who was injured in the clashes.
We are also updated with the information that one student who was cornered and was severely assaulted is currently receiving treatment at the hospital. But let me sound this warning to students that the days when students felt they could misconduct themselves, engage in acts of violence and lawlessness, misconduct themselves, and go free are over. We are very determined to make sure that students act in a civilized and decorous manner, especially so when they meet for what we believe should be healthy extracurricular activities. So let this warning go to all students.
Meanwhile, the National Parents Council has criticized school authorities for its slow response in enforcing the recently drafted Code of Conduct for Students. Irene Sam speaks for the council.
It is very, very disturbing and heartbreaking to see our wards in such a misconduct. We are in the various homes thinking that our wards are in school, studying to, change their career path, only for us to see them on social media misbehaving, conducting themselves in this manner. So our initial comment would be that this is so breaking and very disturbing, and we shouldn't even, continue with this at all. We should always condemn such acts and see how best we can collaborate and make sure that such things do not happen again.
Irene, you're a parent, and so is Iyao. What do you make of the response from the two schools?
Well, let me say that, holistically, sporting activities is healthy. It should promote healthy competition and then collaboration and cooperation. That will be failing, and it shouldn't even come to this point of, and misconducting themselves in this way. Now, what we make of it is that there is a way we need to go about some of these things. First of all, the code of conduct that we are talking about, it doesn't really give full autonomy to the schools. So everything they have to wait for GES to come in before they can take an action to nip the situation in the bud. Now, most of the schools too are also blaming parents that we too are not bringing our wards in the way that they should go. So we are saying that all of us together, we have to see to some of these things. The parents, all of us, we have to work out in the various rooms.
Well, so earlier, just before I brought in that sound, you had the Irene Sam, who is a member of the National Parents Council. They have been speaking on this. But let me bring in the DC for the area, Igan Kalala Nyamiche, who is joining us on the phone lines now. I'm grateful to you, Honorable, for joining us. Now, what more do you know? We've been told earlier that investigations are being conducted into this particular incident. What have the police been telling you about their findings so far?
Yes, so good afternoon to your listeners. Currently, as we speak, the situation is calm. The police, I just left Obachire SHS, which fall within my jurisdiction. So to update your listeners, the third incident did happen on Thursday. And Friday too, it continued. So what happened was that around Thursday in the afternoon, then the head mistress called me that there's this Swedru student shown to our student, that is the Obachire SHS. So suddenly, within the next 10 minutes, she called that one of our guys is injured. So I told her she would send the boy to Swedru Government Hospital. Within the next 5 minutes, then she called back that there's also another one injured. Then I said he should follow up with the first one.
Okay.
The second one, the first aid team on campus should make sure that they will be able to take the issue up.
So how many students in total have been injured in this?
Yes, currently as we speak, about 8 of them, but 3 are in critical condition.
If you say critical condition, describe it to us. What sort of injuries do they have?
If you look at the damage, is that great?
Okay.
The impact is, let me put it that great. Yes.
Well, have you been told about the injuries that they've suffered?
Yes. So that is what I'm saying. That currently, if you look at the children involved, there were 8, but the 3 is very, very, very bad, and I saw.
Okay. So you've not.
But we'll be able to, with assistance from the Swedru Government Hospital and that of the Obachire Children's Compound doctors and nurses, we'll be able to treat them, and currently we have discharged them, of which today they came to Accra for proper scrutiny and investigation, because as soon as the videos pop up, or when I heard the reportage, I also forwarded the videos to Director General of Education and the Regional Director. So today they were sanctioned to come to Accra for further scrutiny and investigation.
Who were sanctioned to come to Accra?
Yes, Regional Director of Education, the head teacher of Swedru Secondary School, Swedru Business School, and that of the Obachire
SHS
Secondary School. Yes.
Okay. We understand the police made some arrests yesterday. Have you had any update on that?
Yeah, so currently they've arrested some people, and we are here to, because this is a student affairs issue. You can't just bump into the school compound and start arresting people. With the grace of God today, the director of CID also came himself. We had a MUSEC meetings, and because the head teacher was at a meeting at Accra, we couldn't do much. So we are waiting patiently for him to come. Or even as of yesterday, we have given him 24 hours to produce all the children, because the children are under the care or under the caretaker of the head teacher and the teachers. So we are just waiting for him to come from Accra. Then we'll continue on from where we took it from yesterday.
Director of CID, you mean from the National Police Headquarters?
Yes, came around today. Yes.
Okay, and those who have been arrested, do you know the number, and who are they?
No, I don't know the number. For now, I don't know the number.
Okay, and so with what you've asked the headmaster to produce the student,
yes.
those who committed the atrocities we saw on the video.
Yes.
Okay, and you've given him 24 hours to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
We could have done it today, but because of it's GS and GS, there are processes that they need to go and all those things. We have the code and ethics, banning all those things. So we needed to just wait for the head teachers to come for us to continue our investigations and whatever it is. So I want to use your platform, your medium to promise your listeners. There's no way we'll let the issue die just like that. So they should keep trust in us, and we'll do everything possible to at least ascertain the issue.
But where was your security when all of that were happening? Because we know that when it comes to public gathering, the police would have to be there to offer some security. Not so.
It's quite unfortunate. It's quite unfortunate because for the entry I'm picking, last year there was a similar event, but they didn't tell anybody. And if you listen to the Obachire SHS head teacher, she's new and she was briefed. So my worry is that she could have told me. It's right unfortunate, but this is where we are, and we'll do everything possible within our distance to safeguard the interest of the children and the people.
Okay, I'm grateful to you, for speaking to us. We'll come to you again for us to get the details on of whatever will be happening. Grateful.
Noted.
He is the DC for O2 Senior West. Egan Kalala Nyamichede. We've been joined by the former Deputy Education Minister and MP for Asin South, Reverend John in Team Fojo. Reverend, I mean, I'm sure when you heard this, you were disturbed. How do we nip this in the bud where a student would show gross indiscipline and would not mind, however, they are attacking their friend, but they will do that in a barbaric manner? How do we deal with it?
Thank you very much, Kojo. In fact, it's really disturbing the news of this incident of attacks on students and properties during the interzonal sports competition. My prayers are with all the injured who are receiving treatment. As a matter of fact, over the weekend, I bumped into a hospital where I was visiting a relative, and around that same time, there was a victim, a student who had been assaulted very badly, receiving treatment at the same hospital. For some reason, I won't disclose the details. But this is how alarming indiscipline in our schools is becoming. No one must politicize this. It will call for collective action for us to nip this in the bud. But in all of this, we have code of conduct. 2, one on the part of student behavior, what is expected of students during sports competitions, and also the other that sets out the conduct expected and the supervision expected from teachers who ought to supervise. On the part of the teachers, whenever you are sending out students to another school or for a joint sports competition, the rule is that for every 20 students, you must have one teacher supervising them. So we need to go into this, investigate it properly, because it's not just the Obachire incident, not the Swedru Center incident. There's also one that happened in Cape Coast. There's also another that happened in Asin North, in Asin North Secondary Technical, which resulted in the damage to Asin in Suta SHS Brawl. A brand new bus I got for them whilst we're in office. And so we need to look at this comprehensively. It's very clear that the pockets of disturbances in Central Region this year was quite disturbing. Let's go into it. I'm also informed that in some of the centers, indeed, the authorities invited police even before the contest and the competition. So it's surprising that chaos will erupt and security men will lose control or may not have what it takes to nip it in the bud. All these interrogations must go on, but the broader consequence must apply. There must be ramifications for people's inactions, and there must be ramifications for the indiscipline on the part of students. If the police is allowed to do their work, and through the juvenile system, arrests are made, prosecutions are made appropriately, and people who are culpable, found culpable, face consequences, including dismissals, including jail terms, possibly in accordance with the juvenile procedures. It will serve as deterrence for the student to know that next year and the subsequent sports competition, you have to be of good behavior, you have to behave yourself, you have to be of good sportsmanship, you have to exercise self-control, and you have to demonstrate discipline. We need to show that something is working beyond statements that are issued. Because year on year, some of these pockets of indiscipline occur, and then it ends up with just statements. People get injured, nobody pays for the consequence, and then it happens again. And then teachers, some of those who become negligent, fail to supervise their students, and they go all out there unleashing mayhem, also get away with it. Okay. So let consequences apply. And in this particular matter, the Parliament will take interest in it. I will be calling for a joint committee between the Education Committee and the Defense and Interior Committee to look into it, so that we tackle the aspect of security, and then we tackle the aspect of supervision, control, and the code of conduct on the part of GES enforcement, so that we can put these together and resolve these matters to ensure that it becomes a thing of the past, where students will have to go for sports, and then it ends up becoming violent. And we just thank God that nobody lost their lives. But we don't want to sit down and not nip this in the bud until a day where sadly somebody will suffer some very grave injuries, and somebody might even lose their lives in the process. So sanctions must apply. People must be held responsible, including the students who will be found culpable.
I'm grateful to you, Reverend John Intin, for joining us here. He is a former Deputy Education Minister. Let me bring in Dr. Peter Party-Anti, Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies. Doc, I mean, where have we come from to get here, or what possibly has contributed to getting us here, where students brazenly attack teachers, attack their colleagues, students, without blinking an eye?
Well, we have been reactive instead of being preventive. We have treated these issues as normal school disciplinary issues. We do not have a very robust and comprehensive policy direction in dealing with indiscipline in our schools. And because of that, the average student who, under normal circumstances, would not get himself involved in this, have all been initiated into undertaking these activities. What I mean is that within the school system, there are very extreme stubborn students, and then there are those who are very calm. What you normally focus on is to ensure that the average student, the one who is in the middle of the two, does not get himself involved in these activities. But because of the way we are handling, or we've been handling previous issues, you listen to you interviewed the policeman, and he told you that this happened last year, and nothing happened. So to the students, this is a normal activity that is treated like one of those indiscipline issues that happens in our schools. And that is what has energized and gingered them to continue to do this. And that is why I personally like the approach of the CID director. The manner she is handling this is the way to go. And I think that video of her interrogating the headmaster and giving the headmaster 24 hours should go viral for every single secondary school student to know that you will not be spared if you find yourself engaging in any kind of misbehavior in this manner.
I mean, someone was saying that doing away with corporal punishment, quote and unquote, where students in the past, you'll be made to weed, you'll be made to scrub, you'll be caned when you falter, or you go against the code of conduct of a student. It's probably why we are here. I mean, to what extent do you agree with that, and what should be the remedy?
So I would take one, that is caning. I think for the reading and scrubbing, I'm one of those who think that the stubborn boys should be allowed to scrub the gutter of the girls. I mean, in front of the girls' dormitory, and then that is now kind of something that it's now deterrent. And students will technically know what to do that. But let's take the caning. Kojo, do you think that looking at the things these students are doing, if a teacher is holding a cane, won't these students be able to take the cane from the teacher and cane him with it? And I'm saying this because I have had examples of students taking canes from teachers and hitting them with it. Happening in Central Region, some of the schools in the Central Region. So for me, I don't think that the answer is the caning. I think that one of the problems that we are facing is associated with the old mode of dealing with these kinds of indiscipline. We are dealing with students that are now called the Gen Z. The kind of information, the kind of environment that they are being brought up is different from the kind of environment that we used to have. We will not have that kind of boldness to approach a teacher, to even talk to the teacher, not even to talk about guarding to go and beat up the teacher. But this is what the students are doing now. And so you don't look for a solution like caning. No. You look for a solution that will be more building. Okay, and that is why I think that in our system, we don't take certain things seriously. For example, look at the nature of our counseling system. Look at the support system in terms of behavioral development in our schools. We don't have all these things. But we are interested in the student getting 8, 7 ones, and so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, we are able to build the cognitive and the intellect of the students, and then their behavior, the very kind of attitude that is very crucial for them to fit into the society. We pay less attention to it. So if we really want to deal with this, I think that we should not be so much related with the corporate punishment, especially when it comes to change. I think that we should focus on behavioral information, and that means that we should put our money where our mouth is. train more people to engage in counseling in our secondary schools.
Close to 72 hours after the incident happened, the student who committed this heinous crime have not been identified, forcing the CID to say produce them within 24 hours. Doesn't it tell how these students feel that they can do things and go scot-free, and who really must be held accountable for that?
In the school system, I think the honorable former minister, deputy minister, was talking about it. And I've also had the cause to complain about security in our secondary schools. You know that if you're entering in the secondary school, the highest form of security is the one who sits at the entrance and opens doors, the gates, and then closes for cars to enter. And sometimes they try to interview and ask you who you are looking for. That is the highest form of security in our institutions. A parent who takes the ward to a secondary school believes that place is supposed to be a safe haven for the child.
Okay.
And therefore, if I'm a parent and I'm going through social media and I see my child being stoned like a petty thief, I should be very worried. And that is a failure in respect of the school authority.
Okay.
If you are taking kids out in this manner, you need to provide them with the kind of protection that every individual needs. And so you don't take one or two teachers to accompany students that are sometimes about 100, 200. It means that there is some kind of defect there.
Okay.
And so you will need to ensure that those kinds of, directives and all those things are enforced. And for me, I think the responsibility lies with the headmaster.
Okay.
He needs to produce their students for them to face the law.
I'm grateful to you. Dr. Peter Ante is Executive Director of the Institute for Education Studies. This has been Top Story. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Up next is News Night.
You know how